Over the past few centuries, human civilization has grown exceedingly complex, unlike the primitive gathering of ancient cultural centers. We now deal with the monstrous global economy, which necessitates the handling and transfer of currently often physically intangible from in this information is but abstract this seem whether we realize or not, economics affects at all. What does it mean? Upon her in the world economics one would certainly think about money, but more specifically the manner in which wealth is distributed or perhaps immediately personal and reliable concepts like goods and taxes. Then there are slightly more large-scale concepts like recession, gross domestic product, or GDP, and the stock market. However, most deadly concepts belong to the realm of macroeconomics, which involves looking at national and global economics. In this series, we will start out with an in-depth survey of macroeconomics, which involves studying how economics affects individual decisions, the kind that we all make every day. This would give us the contract and foundational knowledge, so then expand into microeconomics, such that all of these larger concepts would suddenly be more reliable. And finally, the wrap-up. The series we will look at personal economics, which involves examining of how we use economics foundation to navigate our lives. That means we will go over budgeting, bank accounts, and even things how we use credit cards. But before we get this all the topics, we have to start at very the beginning and boil down to its essence. Economics all comes down to choice. For example, if you are watching this video, you made a choice to watch it now. It's possible that future may be compelling you to watch this right now, but regardless someone made a choice. You could be doing thousand other things at this moment, like riding a bike or making turtle learning, but out of all those things you see this video. First is the fact that you made this video is fantastic example for this demonstrating of what economics is on the fundamental level. Economics is the study how we make choice based on scarcity. One of the most important concepts economics is scarcity. Scarcity is the term that simply refers to the fact that we have endless marks and need, but a limited amount of resources to fulfill those wants and need. To be clear with our terminology, a resource is anything that is useful to use. This doesn't strictly refer to natural resources like water. This term could refer to your teacher, this video, or the pen and paper. You take notes with questioning that you are taking notes right now like a good student. But regardless of the type of resource, they all have limits. If there was an endless supply of everything, economics would not exist. We are constantly weighing our wants and needs to make choices due to scarcity. In the three most common examples of limited resources are time, money, and energy. For example, let's see that you need to learn economics. Perhaps you don't know to watch my economics because you're busy your job. Perhaps you don't not money to pay for economics instruction at university. Or perhaps you don't have the energy or the patience to sit and practice working through in difficult economics problem. The limited amount of these resources can have an impact on one's ability to fulfill these needs of learning economics. To define some more terms, we justify our wants and needs with goods and services. Goods are the physical stuff that we produce, like food, clothing, and electronic devices. Services are action or activities we perform like delivering food, dry cleaning articles and clothing, and fixing electronic devices. All goods and services are said to be scarce because they are necessarily in limited supply. This is because the resources used to make goods and the time required to perform services are inherently limited. Now, to be clear, scarcity does not specifically refer to a shortage. A shortage occurs when consumers want a larger quality of a good or services than producers are willing or able to make available at a sweeping price. Unlike shortage, which are circumstantial, scarcity always exists, simply because resources in humans are not infinite in number. This is why economics will always exist, and since we can face it with better learn about it now hopefully. We now understand a bit more clearly what the field of economics studies and why it is of such universal concern just with many scientific principles that interact with everyday whether we are aware it or not. Economics shapes the world we live in and the choices that we make. So together let's learn all about economics such that we can better understand and we make the choices that we do and potentially make more informed decisions in the future. How do you understand economics? Economics is a social science concerned with the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. It studies how individuals, business, governments, and nations make choices about how to allocate resources. Economics are daily lives in both obvious and subtle ways. From an individual perspective, economics frames many choices we have to make about work, leisure, consumptions, and how much to serve. Our lives are also influenced by macroeconomics. Trends such as inflation, interest rates, and economic growth